Paul Klee is our artist of the week. He was born in 1879 in Switzerland. He had studied art at a private school and then at the Munich Academy of Art in Munich, Germany. Now, he and his wife had settled in Munich, and he became a part of a group of very experimental painters. And they liked the idea of creating things that looked more abstract. Abstract meaning it didn't necessarily have to look like a person, place, or thing. It might, but it didn't have to. And his work is very much indicative of that. After a trip to North Africa, he became very enthralled with using very, very super bright colors. And a lot of his work started to resemble mosaics. A mosaic is an artwork made of little pieces like tile. And his work definitely has that mosaic kind of feel to it. This one here is called Fire at Full Moon. It is mostly a dark kind of picture, very little in terms of colors. You see a lot of, it's almost like monochromatic, green and red and brown, that kind of thing. You see the full moon. You also see the fire here. This appears to be some type of building, but we don't know if it's a house or if this is a fire like in the backyard. And I'm thinking you might have a fire pit at your house, so you might have a campfire going there in the summertime. So that could very well be what that is. Now, he taught art in Germany from 1920 to 1933, but with the rise of the Nazi Party, he decided to leave. He and his family moved back to Switzerland, where he died in 1940. In his later years, he had developed a muscle disorder that made it very difficult for him to use a paintbrush and do small little details. It was easier to do larger sections rather than teeny tiny details. And that was because he did not have the fine motor control anymore. So he is considered one of the modern art masters of the 20th century. Paul Klee, our artist of the week. Now, what we're going to do today, we're going to make a Klee style portrait. So it's going to be a very abstract type of portrait. And we're going to start off with a very large oval. And we're going to add the neck and part of the shoulders. And we're going to make some type of dividing line down the center of the head. It might be wavy, it might be jagged, it might be blocks. It's really up to you how you want to do this dividing line down the center of the head. So that divides our head into two halves. So they don't necessarily have to be even. They can be different on each side. So not only do the items not have to be the same size, they don't even have to be in the same spot. So it really depends on what you want to do with this. And as you can see, I'm making this look really, really crazy. But it's almost like cubism in style. So it's very similar to what, the Picasso influence. And Paul Klee was very influenced by the masters like Pablo Picasso. So we're going to add something, funny for the hair, because we're going to be painting this all in. So this is going to be a lot of different colors. And going to add some sections that we can create different colors in. So once you have that, the next part is to paint. Now, you can use paint with this. You can use watercolor. You can use paint cakes like I'm using. You can use paint sticks. You can use markers. You can use crayons. If you don't have painting supplies, don't worry. You don't have to use them. You can make this a drawing lesson too, and it'll be just as interesting. So this is the one that I worked on earlier. And now we're going to be using our paints to be painting these beautiful sections in. The black crayon kind of helps keep your paint where you want it to be, especially if you're concerned about your colors running everywhere. Black crayon really works well to help hold in those colors, helps hold them in place. So as you can see, this is going on pretty easily here with these paint cakes. And don't worry if you don't have them. As I said, you can make this into a drawing project. It's not a problem. You can make it a drawing project. So don't worry if you don't have the supplies. I try to keep things flexible because I know you're at home and you may not have everything at your fingertips. So I think it's best when you are using paint like this, being your brush is already loaded with it, make a few sections with that color. Then that way you're not constantly washing out your brush and spending more time washing than you actually are creating the painting. So it's just a good, efficient way to paint. I think you'll really have fun with this project because there's no right or wrong answer with it. This can be whatever you want it to be. So if you want your face to look really wacky, you can, because it's a portrait, and yet it can be completely abstract. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes it different. That's all. And I know for a fact that this doesn't look anything like me, but I do like the colors. So in that way, it says something about me. So I'm just going to continue on with the painting of this, and I will show you what a finished product may look like. So this is a finished product that I think turned out pretty well. And this one probably is a little more interesting in terms of the colors that I used. I made a lot of larger sections, but you don't necessarily have to do it that way. You can make a bunch of smaller sections. Whatever you feel like doing with this project will make it work. So if you want to use paint, you can use paint. If you want to use marker or colored pencil, go right ahead. If you don't have painting materials, don't worry. You can always use drawing materials for it. So I hope you enjoy doing this abstract portrait lesson, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.